didn't, so we're probably good. So welcome to Blues versus SpinCycles. In the best of 3 of the first round. This, Blues is a really good player, and SpinCycles is not that bad either, last time I checked. And so I expect this is going to be power is going to be huge, clearly. There's nothing but offices. Power, like, this is where I would say, let's try Power Robo. And I'm very serious. Like, Power Robo right here or something? Or, looks like they're being quite patient with founding here.
Expansive
okay.
colony
Okay, got a nice expansive, smashing all of the stuff.
Team reporting in.
SpinCycle bought 100 aluminum!
Running in no time.
Okay. I think that might have been a little excessive. But okay, he's back down to 80. That didn't really slow Blues down. That was awesome, because obviously, it's probably a really good strategy, and it forces Blue to get that aluminum mine if he wanted to do something like this 1 iron 2 steel setup that SpinCycle has. SpinCycle is going to be making and iron is completely worthless because SpinCycle squashed so much of it that he just sold it all immediately. So this is not making very much. This is pretty good, but these are very nice. This is also very nice, but
Expansive colony
SpinCycle is of course first to upgrade. Another steel mill. I expect that's the aluminum mine. I expect I even need 2 aluminum mines. 2 aluminum mines would be totally reasonable.
Colony expanded.
I would think. Let's see. Blues has 4 claims. Really? Okay, 2 iron mines, 2 steel mills. This is sort of interesting because now he's going. Oh, he's splitting up his steel mills. Blues, you founded second. You founded second. I could see splitting up steel mills if you founded first, but you founded second. You're gonna get that black market first. You have that black market available. Oh, both of them have the black market available, I suppose. Although I suppose if you're gonna be like, I'm gonna shut down your steel, then okay, that's fair. There was a water pump going out here, and it stopped. And it's going out there again. Okay. I was like, is he gonna cancel a claim and take another water tile somewhere else? There's not really a lot of options. Like, there is really far away, and I don't agree with it. Yeah, I think that was fine. I don't know why he canceled that. I think that was bad. Anyway, so SpinCycle has all of the aluminum. They both are sitting on lots of glass. That's fine. Power is rising very, very rapidly. It hasn't. The expansions have not been offices, so it's not like 1.2 power per second. That'd be ridiculous. But power is very, very negative, and if they did found very, very late. So both of them have the option of really trying to leverage that power market in some interesting way. We have 1 goon squad down here, and Blues does not have a goon squad. He is first to the upgrade, probably because of that freeze on the steel mills. SpinCycle didn't. Blues basically got all the money from the steel, which is pretty impressive. By freezing out. So he's going into the geotherm. I don't think there are any. No, okay, no, wait. Oh, he's claimed 2 geotherms. Okay, people are going. Okay, 2 geotherms and 2 farms. Okay, that's fair. He's going to turn his negative 1.7 into positive 2.3. And power's at $200 a second and rising. SpinCycle, what are you going to do about this? You're just sort of waiting on the steel, I suppose, at the moment.
The black market is online.
It's interesting that you managed to get so much iron, given. Okay. Your opponent was overproducing it. I'm surprised, a little surprised that Blues didn't hold this against SpinCycle. The fact that he's underproducing iron, but it did. So, nanotech for 24,000 to SpinCycle. Well, you're not making money off of power anytime soon. Blues has got down a goon squad on this Geo. Mistakes, says SpinCycle. Probably. You can cycle out of those solar panels, or those steel mills for solar panels or something like that. What you can do with this expansion? You have 4 claims. It's pretty good. Oh, you know what? I realized something. I'll mess with it in a bit. There might be ghost audio going on in the background. Sorry about that. I'll fix that after this game. And farm. Okay. 1 new claim to everyone. Okay, that's going to... See, the thing about when the colony goes super on the power is that means the other prices don't rise very much. And it turns out that power is really easy to make and really easy to crash. You have no power. SpinCycle. SpinCycle. You're just dead. It's over. It's over. Nope. Nope. Dead. 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 Well, unless you can pull some miracle with water. This is going up
Expansive
like
colony expanded.
$1,000 every other second. That's insane. Power is still rising. Yeah, of course it's still rising. 0.8 per second plus. You're using 2. You're making 2. So power is still rising. He's finally getting some solar panels on top of his aluminum, and a geotherm. Okay, so he's trying to go heavily into power, but here's the thing. Blues has turned off his steel mills because he's going into power. Really, I mean, it makes sense. It makes sense. He's gonna freeze the power. It's over. It's over. There's nothing SpinCycle can do because Blues is gonna. He can put a mutiny on this. He's gonna be able to freeze this constantly. He has enough. He has enough black market, even though he's expansive. I mean, if his scavenger, I mean, you know, that'd be ridiculous. But he has enough black market effects that SpinCycle is never going to have power. And we're gonna watch this guy drop down to $1 share price. If Blues wanted to, he could force SpinCycle all the way down to $1 share price at this point. That's how dead SpinCycle is. Which kind of is so. Okay, Blues is gonna take an auction for that, and he really didn't need to. SpinCycle can't afford to do anything. Well, I'm gonna turn off my steel mills if you turn off your steel mills. Okay, fine. You have no iron, so it kind of makes sense. Oh no, you do have 2 iron. You can upgrade. You're dead, but you can upgrade. Blues is making bank off power right now. Like, unbelievable bank. And he's going into more solar panels. Because, you know, why not? Hey, hits the upgrade. He sees the 50%. 146. He is making some money off of power off of this geotherm way over there. I think that is the only power that he is making at the moment. Yeah. So he is. His debt isn't going up. Well, okay. Blues was hoarding the fuel there too. Oh, forcing him into electrolysis reactors. Now that power that was so close to being, you know, Good job, Blues. You made $1,000 a second off power, and yeah, wow, yep. Okay, and SpinCycle gives it up, which is completely fair and understandable. I don't know why that mutiny went over there instead of over there. I don't know if Blues even noticed the geotherm. It is quite far away. He could have, wow. Okay, game 1's over. Let's go to game 2. Boop. And let's go here and say you guys need to exit, please. Exit. Yes. Yes. Close. Yes. Game. Exit. Thank you. Okay. No more ghost sound effects. Sorry. Okay, so let's see what we have here. As soon as spin big trouble, yep. Ditch mines, build panels, yeah, build. Like, I don't like converting everything over into power would have, you know, maybe helped, but I don't think he had the money for that. Like just so much power that Blues couldn't possibly black market it all or something is the only thing that remotely could. Yeah, the power hurt too a lot. You guys ready? Okay. Alright, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay! Welcome to the loading screen for game number 2 of Blues vs. SpinCycle. Blues took the first game incredibly decisively, off of mostly power. Mostly power, good. Just shutting down his opponent. Glass. Well, that's going to make things really interesting. Again, let's try robotic. Okay. This is a, you know, like, okay, I see a scavenger here and robo here maybe, or maybe 2 scavengers, 1 here, 1 there. That's kind of all I see right now. 4 silicon tiles. Yeah, okay, so silicon tile here, that makes sense. I expect this, and an aluminum tile somewhere. Or you could go water, if he wants to. Whoa. What? Blues? You did? Because the game says you did. I think I know what happened. I think I fracked up. I think I wasn't on observer. Oh. Alright. Okay. Solved. Make sure that this is on real map. It is. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Small. This is alright. This is not a seed. Okay. Blues, you good? Okay. Okay. Well, at least, you know, now we know that Zoltar is not the only one who makes stupid mistakes like that, right? It's gotta always happen once. So, now it's happened, now I don't have to do it again. Electronics! So, completely different map. Electronics and electronics and power. Okay. So, that makes, like... Don't want to go robo, based upon that, because electronics... This is, I mean, okay, science actually here would be probably pretty sick, because, you can right here, you smash
Scientific
2 water,
colony
okay,
founded.
Blues has decided to go up here, that's fair, okay, that's actually pretty sick too, that's actually probably, okay, I don't, okay, that's fine,
We will have the
I
first
think Blues has
factories
this,
up and running in no
just
time.
based on founds, these were, I mean, they're pretty equal spots. I don't know if you saw the scientific versus scientific me versus Hewitt match, but, you know, I would have waited here until found second, get that extra claim. It's basically the exact same location except for the aluminum water combo. I just, you know, have aluminum over there instead of there. But I also have all these geos, so that's fine. That's fine. Let's see. Well, Blues already has the upgrade, so... Well, as soon as he just settles down... There he goes. Yep. And SpinCycle is quite a bit behind in many respects. Just this one steel mill is not going to be enough. Okay, so we're getting the water pump down, a farm, one water pump, one farm, one steel mill. That's all of Blue's claims for level 2. That's fair. This 111 build is it's probably fine. It's probably fine. I mean, I'm curious if there's a better way to use these tiles than, like, if you went just 2 aluminum and then swapped out of them to 2 farms later. That might feel a little better. I mean, this does keeps Blue's debt down, but half of that food is going into debt reduction and not actually making him cash. And 2 lumen per second might be a little slow, but it's fine. It's fine. SpinCycle is going into lots of steel this game, or lots of iron this game. Blues, you're a meanie. Blues is a meanie. See, if you go scientific, you don't have this problem. If you go scientific, you don't have this problem. Sure, you'd be like 1 claim down at this point, but things don't get frozen like that, and you don't die. Go scientific right here. Smush 2 waters, or right here, smush 2 irons. Probably here's better because that's where you get water triangle and then an iron triangle, and then happy days. Happy days. Oh no. Okay, so he moved his water into a farm. Okay, that's fair too. That is fair too. Bottomed out water, and Expansive can't make money off of it. Blues is first level 3, claiming some geos. I would have claimed like this geo just to get in SpinCycle's way, but that's fine. Got 1 geo down. I think SpinCycle is at this point sort of tilted. I'm not quite sure how this is gonna go. There's combo tiles over here. It's really far away from the water. But you know, people are talking about like what about like carbon robo or something? Sounds fine over here or something. Go instead of solar, you go wind turbines or something. Fortunately, it's a very flat map, and the closest wind turbine location is like here, and that's kind of icky. Here's better. Here's actually a really good wind turbine location, but that's really far away too. So Blues is getting down some geotherms, which makes sense given that the colony is using 0.4 power per second, and SpinCycle is using lots of power per second, and Blues is using lots of power per second, and there's a geotherm up for auction.
5,000, 7, 8, 9, 10, 1,000, 14,000, 18.
SpinCycle has a Goon Squad in reserve. Okay, I was wondering what was going on. Blues is gonna take it. Okay. Okay, Blues is now in a lot of debt compared to SpinCycle's. That's his only advantage right now. Is that? Oh, I'm not really happy about that. So Blues got this auction, got this claim, and then canceled his other geotherm over here, thus saving him a claim, and thus using that claim on something else. And that feels just a little bit cheaty to me. Just a little bit cheaty. Okay, well, SpinCycle's got down his geotherm. He still has 3 claims remaining. I'm not quite sure we're just going to use them on. Water might be nice. He's turned off his silicon quarry. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, fuel costs and the power costs are way too high for that. Power is really, really high again. So SpinCycles will be basically neutral in the debt once this geo goes up. $100 a second here, it that basically counteracts what's going on here. So that's not bad. So Blues is actually actively paying off debt at $500 a second. Yeah, so while Blues, yeah, so in about 30 seconds they'll be tied on debt and well, okay, never mind. Blues is just gonna Blues is yeah, okay.
The black market is online.
2 geos, pretty good apparently. SpinCycles has gone into
trying to break our stuff.
Ooh, spicy. Unfortunately, all of Blue's geos are defended if he wants to retribute, which he can't. See, he thinks, okay, so SpinCycle is saying mind games because, see, he held his, he bought his Goon Squad early and held it. And he was trying to force Blues into thinking that, well, he got the Goon Squad way earlier than he got this Geotherm down, so the Goon Squad is clearly on the thing, on the steel. Given that he Goon Squad the steel last game, too. So, he held it, put it on the Geo. Unfortunately, SpinCycle is now just kind of sits with this dynamite and he can't do anything with it.
No, these are perfectly legal.
I'm really what he kind of has to do with it is save it for Offworlds or a Pleasure Dome or something if Blues goes into that, which is unlikely unless we get like a... well, I mean, yeah, it's unlikely that we get a Pleasure Dome down unless...
Scientific colony expanded.
Okay, SpinCycle. These aren't doing anything. SpinCycle. You're not doing anything. Do something with these tiles that aren't doing anything. You need to sell some steel so that you have oxygen for your silicon or something. Like you have... Like the number of tiles that SpinCycle had off for... It's scary. Blues now has all the life support. Power, complete net positives on everything. Water... This is... I mean... He's still in debt, and power is dropped off, and sort of leveled out, which is sort of interesting. It'll go down again once the nighttime comes on, this power comes online, I suppose. But Blues is just hoarding food because his opponent has none, so he's just gonna hoard food and make SpinCycle's life support just that much more painful, I suppose. He can upgrade to level 5 if he wants. He's just not. Okay, there he goes. There he goes. And now it's level 5 versus level 3. This is not really where you want to be ever in the history of anywhere. It's interesting that the solar panel sort of redoes its animation every time I swap players. And also every time it goes off the map. Sometimes. What do you think? Don't make the liar at me. I don't know why it does that. It's whatever. It's not important. What is important is that Blues has a lot of money in a lot of locations and is still sitting on 3 claims, which he has no idea. Okay. Hey, he's getting a silicon quarry? A second silicon quarry, actually. Okay. What you gonna... And then 2 glass furnaces. You know... It is scientific, but EMPs are $3,000, and it is completely undefended. This is obviously going to be a hologrammed offworld. He has the adrenaline boost. He has he's gonna. I don't know if he's gonna hologram it. He doesn't need to, but obviously he's going for an offworld here. He's gonna put it right on that steel mill, and it's gonna be awesome. SpinCycle can upgrade. He has a lot of steel. He really has a lot of steel.
12.
Blues is playing with these prices. Blues, you're so mean. What are you doing?
So,
Well, I guess he was like, well, SpinCycle has no water for whatever reason, so I'm gonna play with the prices all day. Oh, Blues, you're so mean. You're so mean. I
The black market is
don't know
online.
why he's not upgrading at this point. I don't know what SpinCycle is doing right now. Is the thing, because right now, like, I don't know why. Does he think
We're not
that?
surprised, just disappointed in you.
Okay.
The black market is
Whoa.
online.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Now, what underground nukes are available? That should have been a nuke. Now he's lost his glass furnaces. Like, does he think that maybe if he can somehow hold off long enough at level 3, he can somehow burn through? Okay, he's got the nuke. He's got the nuke.
We're not surprised.
Then there's the nuke.
just
Perfect.
disappointed in
Very
you.
nice. Very nice. That's how you do it.
Colony expanded.
The only thing, I think what SpinCycle is trying to do is, why he held off upgrading, is he's trying to get a cash reserve up in order to assault the inevitable and obvious offworld. I think that's what was happening. And so he has a lot of black markets, SpinCycle does. And Blues, it's $20,000 for this next Goon Squad, and he can't possibly take it over before it goes boom in 3, 2, 1. Boom. Make it explode. Make it go boom. SpinCycle. Do it. Do it now. Do it quickly. You have 5 seconds. 4, 3. Blow it up. There it goes. At the absolute last second. Boom goes the offworld. So, I mean, the offworld's down. And that's still, you know, that's going to be a lot of electronics, which are actually really, really pricey because this thing has been eating 0.4 electronics and then now 0.6 electronics for a good long time in this match. So I'm curious what SpinCycle just has 2 claims left. This is building uber fast, but Blues doesn't have the cash to defend it. All of his life support resources have relatively crashed. I mean, the only thing, like these aren't, they're not making much money. Nothing is making incredible quantities of money in order for this. Okay, he did get the Goon Squad. Now he's going.
18,000, 20.
Okay. He got the Goon Squad.
20.
The question is,
4,000.
SpinCycle, I think SpinCycle saw. He just. Oh no! I think. Okay. SpinCycle got the auction, so that's gonna be great for him because no one's bringing Carbon right now. I'm curious
trying to break
if
our stuff.
if SpinCycle is gonna see this. Okay, so that's fair. Now the question is, okay, this launch is gonna go off. It's worth 40. It's worth a lot. So now he definitely has enough money for that $30,000 Goon Squad if he wants to, but SpinCycle's black market comes off of cooldown first, and that dynamite's still $5,000.
Your stock is being bought.
SpinCycles could take out that offworld if he's super fast about it. And I'm curious if he's going to be able to do it. He needs to. That gets an awful lot. Oh, and he gets it! He gets it! He gets the dynamite! Oh, man! This electronics price is insane! SpinCycles, you need to hog Carbon or something. Oh, no, he's in D. Okay, he's hit the D-det. That's completely understandable given the situation. And he's about to defend himself. And the offworld's getting rebuilt. No one's making steel anymore, which is very interesting. Carbon is rising very rapidly. SpinCycle just needs one more to defend himself, and it all comes down to, well, these electronics factories, really, and SpinCycle's electronic factories are better. Twice as better, almost. Twice as better! Because and this Carbon is rising, it's just going to get more, like... SpinCycle's defended himself. He did it. He's defended himself. He's pushed it. It's gonna go long. The question is, what is he gonna do about this debt? That's the question of the day. Because either he needs to start paying off that debt, or he can't defend an offworld, and he knows Blues has a dynamite because he gave him a dynamite, and Blues hasn't used it yet. So I'm very interested on. But the offworld's up again. The offworld is up again, and he's at C-det. It's not defended, and it's now EMP'd. That EMP did not last very long. Wow. What is exactly right? And that's not frozen for very long at all, and it's not like. Alright, because scientific. Duh. Derp de derp. So, we are going to get a Pleasure Dome, which is going to bring in a decent quantity of money. Considering that power's $1 and is locked that way because of, 4 geotherms on the map. That's fair. As it's going to be frozen, I'm very curious if SpinCycle is going to be able to blow that up again. It's $9,000 for that next one. He's getting down some steel mills, which is very fair given that his opponent has none. These are just the complete MVP of the match. Blues has no carbon. And can't get carbon. Like, honestly, this feels like a mistake, almost. Because that could have been a carbon mine. Which would bring in $200 a second versus $100 a second. He gets the launch off. Blue's got the launch off, barely, and now he has to rebuild it again, which is going to raise the price of these. Which, okay, well, now we have steel mills for both players. Scientific steel mills are better because you have no iron production. That's kind of a pain, because he's kind of been stuck on level 4 because he did scrap his steel mills for these. Oh man, SpinCycle's holding on. This is so great because like I'm really rooting for SpinCycle because he's holding on so well against Blues here. But he has the upgrade if he wants it. He's getting down his iron mines. He has the upgrade if he wants it. He's gonna maybe this might even be worth upgrading and power surging this so that he gets the money back on the steel as opposed to Blues, because Blues is making too much money off of these right now. Just too much money. And it also holds that off-world for just a few seconds. It's defended again, though.
We caught a dirty rat trying to break our stuff.
And that EMP is probably going to come right back here. On the iron, that's fair. I don't know if you really want to... Oh no, everything's frozen. SpinCycle has to sit out for 2 minutes. Oh no. And he has money to keep attacking this thing. And that Goon Squad is getting really, really expensive. Superconductor, not really amazing for Blues. It would be pretty nice for SpinCycle, but I mean, it really doesn't matter. Power is just dead, so... And power is going to remain... Actually, Blues is actually negative on power at the moment. It's a little bit surprising. Oh, the Hacker Ray. Hacker Ray probably he's doing a fuel shortage, and he's hogging all the fuel. And... SpinCycle is using 0.6 a second. What you gonna do with that? And the fuel shortage has... It's still going on, but he's sold out of his fuel. And he's gone into glass, and now he's doing a glass shortage. And he moved out of accurate. And SpinCycle's in D-debt again. Blues has a lot of debt too, but SpinCycle's is just enough. And it's barely enough. $10,000, he now has his black market again. And it's frozen again. $50,000 Goon Squad to defend that thing. $16,000 for interest too. Yeah. Yep. So SpinCycle paid off a lot of debt right there, which is fair. I'm curious if SpinCycle can push this, because Blues has a lot of money. Blues has a lot of money. I think he's really trying to just sort of go for. I mean, he's trying to multiply the money with the Hacker Ray. He's really trying to just go for. That doesn't feel necessary, but also this carbon price. Someone used a mule. Blues is using a mule to gather some carbon. Oh, that's cute. You almost never see mules, but now we do. So, the obvious glass shortage of obviousness is happening. It really isn't changing that much, though.
Your stock is
that's
being
kind
bought.
of pathetic. Do you think SpinCycle's? He doesn't have really enough. Is he?
New panels up for auction.
13.
Oh my. Well, I don't think that's worth it. Stop! Stop bidding! No! Don't take that!
Sold.
That's because it's gone to Soul 8! You didn't want that, SpinCycle. That was just money. And sure, Blues has $100,000 in debt. Sure, he's going to get 14% of that interest. So that's, you know, like $2,500. But you're having to pay cash to pay off your D
Our
debt.
hackers have compromised
You know,
the trading
sure,
service.
maybe if it's
Price
$3,000,
manipulation shortly.
it's not enough. So Blues started to panic, and now he's saying, never mind. So he just sort of lost. Like, that costs money to do that. Like, so it looks like $5,000. So Blues just said, here, have $5,000, apparently. He's also not rebuilding his off-world market. Am I seeing that right? Just get off the screen so maybe it refreshes or something. Blues is not rebuilding his off-world market. Does he think he can win it without it? I assume that's what's happening. I can't imagine anything else. Or is he waiting for the hack to go through? And the hack is done. Everything's in cash. And he's 75% of the way there. So okay, here comes the electronics short. It's
Our hackers have compromised the trading
kind of
service.
nice.
Your stock
Price
shouldn't go.
manipulation begins shortly.
SpinCycle is sold out and is investing all of his cash that he possibly can into the electronics short of Doom. Chemical shortage out of Blues. That's glass surplus out of, I don't know if, yeah, you guessed wrong there, SpinCycle. I'm sorry to say. That's not what it is. It's a like, SpinCycle could pay himself out of this debt. He could also upgrade. Like, he hasn't upgraded like ever. Like, he's still level 4. I don't know if he realizes he's still. I mean, this giant button is blinking at him.
Your stock is being bought.
Blues sees that 50%. I'm curious. That was enough to make him panic a little bit. Blues is now committed to defending himself, which means this game is going to go on even longer. Oh my goodness. It's going to go on even longer. So, I'm curious how much money he got from the interest. Oh, wait.
14,000.
Okay, this tile.
16,000.
You know, this tile is. Blues takes it for 16,000, which he does. Blues is more debt than SpinCycle. Blues is more debt than SpinCycle. I sure hope SpinCycle knows this is another offer. Because it looks pretty obvious to me. Maybe that fiscal instruments will mean something now. But on the other hand, this carbon is actually really useful for Blues. Is the thing. I mean, it's money. Like, that's money. $200 a second. That's pretty good. That's pretty good when everything else is kind of negligible except for these electronics factories. And then, you know, and steel's okay.
Shipment launched. Look at all
Blues
the
is starting to get the off-worlds. The off-worlds are now sending for Blues.
The black market is online.
They are both now in the D debt, where everyone belongs, I suppose. Blues has the money. SpinCycle is still level 4. He's still level 4. You know, he could have upgraded many, many times over the course of this. I'm very, very curious why he... Steel shortage. I mean, it might take Blues by surprise, but he's holding on to 200 steel. Probably... Sure, if you do that steel shortage and then manage to blow up one of these off-worlds, like right before the steel short goes through, so that you blow through Blues' steel reserves, you know, maybe that works.
Our hackers have compromised the trading
And
service.
steel shortage is going
Price
through, so
manipulation begins shortly.
this will be
On
interesting
your
to see
shipment
what's.
launch.
And now you're going to buy
Look at
into
all the
Blues.
money.
So, and now Blues is 86% on you. Oh, he's going to defend himself. Okay, now he only has 75% on you. Still, 2 off-worlds versus none, and this Blues short sells on the steel. And SpinCycle says GG. Yeah, If you blew up one of those off-worlds again, you know, that's a lot of steel to burn. You know, it's, you know, 400. I think it'd be 200 steel for Blues to repair an blown up off-world, and that would be his reserves. But no,
Off-world shipment
it's over.
launched.
Blues has the button.
Look at all the money.
He just needs to press it, and Blues takes it 2-0. Wow, Soul 10, so close to Soul 11. Oh, it was almost the longest game. Or well, I mean, I think it's either tied the longest game or it is the longest game. I mean, it was almost Soul 11. So wow, SpinCycle did such an amazing job at holding on, and it was so close. Not taking PD, huge mistake. Pleasure Dome. Second off-world, yeah. And these, I think not. Prices were pretty low on World, except for their very, very, very awesome electronics, because 0.8 electronics per second is pretty big. And then blowing up off-worlds, that's another 50 electronics every time you hit that button. Yeah, glass was really low, steel was very low, aluminum's dirt cheap. But that's going to be this series. I kind of want to look at some charts and graphs here, because just like, wow. These net revenues, you know, like everything that Blues did was off-world. Basically, I mean, like on just there's barely anything to be made. And the only interest charges were only $50,000 a part. That's amazing. And I guess SpinCycle lost $5,000 on his the entertainment revenue was not bad. So yeah, entertainment, yeah, that's not bad. The carbon, I think, could have been really huge if SpinCycles had managed to get in on that. If SpinCycle was upgrade level 5 and took that carbon before that auction went off, that would have been, you know, pretty big, because then he could, you know, just he controlled the carbon market because he had carbon scrubbing, so he could have, but, you know, just locking out, because I think, I don't know how many, okay, there were more carbon tiles on the map, I guess, but things could happen, but this game is over. Wow. About power. So 74k in power, 43k. So basically the only debt difference was power, and even then it was kind of like SpinCycle spent so much money trying to pay off that debt, successfully, you know, paying off that debt, but 2 off-worlds are better than none, I guess. Yeah, SpinCycles, if he had blown up one of these off-worlds right before that steel short went through, I mean, he had about 200 steel, so he could have repaired the off-world in the steel cost. But then he would have no steel right before the shortage hits, which means you probably could have gotten advantage off of it. But otherwise, you know, electronics probably not. Chemicals might have been an acceptable shortage. He also had no aluminum income. Aluminum was $1, but he had no aluminum income, and he was burning it in these electronics. So, you know, that could have been something, I suppose. What is it? Because most of them are science aluminum, so that's... I see. Yeah. You should expand it to help your debt spin cycle. Yeah, that is true. Yeah. If you expanded, you would have not had to pay off so much debt, but still, the debt was quite deadly. Anyway, thank you all for watching this. That was fun. I'm kind of tempted to play another game, but I shouldn't. I should stop. So thank you all for watching. That was a long game. I wish SpinCycle could have pulled it off. I really wish he could have. And I think there might have been one or two ways out of him for him, because he was so good on attacking that first off-roll. He kept that first off-roll down so long, but he had nothing back to back it up himself. Like if maybe if the hacker had gone down earlier, or obviously I think he should have upgraded to level 5 just so much sooner than he could have. You know, the extra what 4 or 5 claims have been amazing. A carbon tile, you know, just spread out your production so that your opponent can't hack on you. Let's wrap it up. I can see everyone's joining in on this Galactic Wino lobby. Have fun, guys. I'm done. See you all around.